Welcome to Rehatch Designs by Tina Williams, formerly Something Special Designs, where I do home decor made from thrifted and upcycled items in all different styles. Sit back and enjoy the video, and if you like it, please give me a thumbs up, share, comment, and subscribe, and I hope to see you again soon. Thank you for joining me. First off, we have project number 1, and this is a wreath that I just purchased on Facebook Marketplace for $8, and I bought it mainly because I love the flowers in it, and it really was only missing a few flowers. And if you've ever bought a grapevine wreath before, just the wreath itself will cost you more than $8. So to have it with all these beautiful flowers on it, even though it needed a little work, I thought was a really good bargain. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to kind of assess the situation here and kind of figure out what I'm going to do with this, if I'm going to rewire these on. They have not been hot glued. They have been wired, but it looks like they're all kind of loose. So I'm kind of trying to decide if I want to hot glue them on or if I'm going to, just wire them all back on. And I'm kind of going through my stash of flowers that I have. I'm kind of deciding what I want to add to it. But in the end, I decided the best thing would be to hot glue these on because I really couldn't see a way to get them to stay where they needed to stay without doing that, because it looked like the stems were cut really, really short. So it would really be hard to wire them in correctly. So anyway, what I'm doing is I'm going around with my glue gun, and I use Gorilla Glue, and it really works well, and it seems to stay well on my wreaths. I've never had a problem. But anyway, I'm going to go around and I'm going to secure all of the loose flowers, and I even take some off and move them around a little bit. But honestly, you can usually find wreaths like this. I actually found another one similar, only more fall colors today when I was thrifting. I'm not going to do that one in this little episode. That'll be probably something in the future. But I bought it for $2 at a thrift store, and it, the florals are not cheap. So it's kind of you can get them that have this many flowers on it, I would grab them up. Even if you need to do a little work, even if it's just for the florals, even if it's just for the grapevine wreath, because it's a big size and might as well use it. So anyway, I keep going around hot gluing them, and now I'm going to start adding some of my own flowers that I have. And I decided I wanted to add some blue in there. This is a really colorful wreath, and I just thought I'm just going to go ahead and go with that and just add more color to it. And I simply just went around and added some blue flowers that I had, some hydrangeas, and then another, I don't know what kind of flower it is actually. I bought these from all different places. Some of them I got from Amazon, some of them I got from Hobby Lobby, some I got from Temu. Not many of these did I get from Temu. These really big flowers usually I get probably from Hobby Lobby when they go on sale. And I bought a couple from Amazon a few times, but I don't know. I just like seeing them in person. So anyway, I went ahead and filled it all up, tried to make sure everything was stuck down, and I tried to kind of balance the color out throughout it. So I have this on my turntable. I have kind of a new setup on my desk. So I'm hoping that I can film more of what I'm actually doing. So hopefully it helps a little bit. But anyway, I do decide that I want to put some greenery on this as well. It does have leaves, and I am kind of gluing those leaves in there. And then I have this boxwood. I don't even know where I got this, but I'm cutting pieces of it. Usually, when I add greenery, I usually don't put like the whole stem in there. I just kind of cut it all up. And I'm actually uh, I have hot glue next to me, and that is a silicone mat, that black mat. And I am just putting some of the hot glue down on the mat and dipping the stems in there as I cut them. I know florists have the little pots of glue, and that would be really handy. But I don't have that, so I'm just taking my glue and basically making a little puddle. Y'all can't see it, it's off screen. But I do that, and I also put some on my little stems also. So my glue gun is really hot, so I have my little finger protectors on, and I have like a little spatula if I need to push stuff in there because it is really, really hot. So I really need to turn the temperature down on it. You can on this, and I really need to. I kind of like it hot for crafting because it gives me a little time. If your glue is not that hot, it dries a lot quicker. So I'm kind of, it's kind of a situation where it helps me with crafting. But boy, if you get it on yourself, it is really burns. So I am trying to be careful. And I'm adding a lot more greenery to this because it didn't have a lot to begin with. And I felt like that was the one thing that it needed. It does have a lot of color, and I think it's really pretty. It may be too much for some people, but anyway, I'm adding the boxwood in all over and just kind of balancing it out. So now I have this, it really, I'm not sure what it is, but I bought this actually at the Dollar Tree, and it is little, no, actually I didn't get it from Dollar Tree. I got it from Walmart. That's right. I'm pretty sure I got it from Walmart. Not positive, but I think I got it from Walmart. And I'm cutting this into smaller bunches of these little white flowers. It kind of looks like baby's breath. And I'm going to go ahead and stick a bunch of that in there and just in different spots. Again, you can kind of see my little pile of glue now over there to the right. And I'm gluing things there, and I'm putting piles, and I'm just going to keep adding this. So here is the finished wreath. I think it turned out beautiful. And we are going to be moving on to project number 2. And we're going to be using Ephemeral Melange by IOD in this project. And we're also going to be using Barnwood Planks by IOD. And this this project was one that I saw on Provincial Farmhouse with Erin, and I will try and link her channel below. If I forget, please tell me, and I'll make sure I put it there. So I am taking a round wood disc that I had, and this was just in my stash. I'm using things that I just had in my stash, guys. All of these projects are things I just already had. And I believe I got this at Hobby Lobby when their wood pieces were half off. And I think this one maybe 9 inches. So anyway, I have a transfer that I want to use on this. But first what I'm going to do is I'm going to be using the barnwood plank. And I am going to ink it up with a permanent ink. And I'm using archival ink in vintage photo. So it's kind of a light brown. I'm sorry for the shaking. I'm going to have to figure that out on my desk too. Getting my setup right is it's a work in progress, guys. So hang in there with me. I'll get there. So anyway, it gives you a really cool wood plank look. This particular stamp set is really fun to have because it's got several different wood planks in it, and you can really get the look of wood with that. I'm using the brown simply because it's going to show through the transfer, so I don't want it to be like overly dark like black. So anyway, I'm just doing that and inking up my stamp and getting that little piece right there. So, and I had painted it white first, and then I went ahead and just did the plank over it. And so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead. This is from the transfer pack, and I'm going to try and center this on there. And I have my wreath, and I bought those wreaths. I will link those in the description box. That is from Amazon. I bought a package of them, and they're not really big, but I don't know. I thought for the price they were pretty good. I'm going to try and make a few for my new booth, just because I always think having some color and flowers and things really help make your booth look good. And these were pretty inexpensive. Of course, I would have loved to have thrifted them, but you can't always find what you need, so you do have to buy some craft items occasionally. So anyway, I'm going to go ahead and do this transfer. It's pretty easy to do. I think I have a couple spots, where I have a little trouble, but it's mainly probably because I did not go over it well. And like I said, you will be able to see the plank over the transfer, but that's okay. It's the effect that I want. So anyway, my desk is shaking so bad, guys. I'm going to have to fix that. I'll have to come up with another setup. It's just so hard. So hard sometimes. So anyway, I'm going to go ahead and finish putting that transfer down. And like I said, you'll see through it a little bit. And I do later on, I don't know that I show you this, but I will go ahead and seal this with some polyacrylic, some matte polyacrylic. I'm just going to burnish it now, burnish it now. And then I'm going to take my polyacrylic and just put one coat of it on there, really, just to seal in my transfer. And I later decide that the white was a little bright on the wood. So I do take a little bit of my brown antiquing wax, and I I decided to paint the back first because I thought, I don't know why, really, honestly, because nobody's going to see it. It was already painted white. But I decided to paint it just because I guess I had my antiquing wax out. That's wax. And I just decided to make it a dark brown so that it would go with the wreath, the wreath, the grapevine wreath. And then I just took my brush that had a little bit of wax left after I did the back, and I decided to go over the front, but I don't think I filmed that. So anyway, that's what I did with that. And then I put a hanger on the back of it. So now what I'm doing is I have these little tiny bird nests that I had bought. And they actually were kind of like too thick, so I had to cut off the bottoms a little bit. It didn't really matter because it almost made like a little tiny grapevine wreath because I needed to place them on and I didn't want them so thick. So I went ahead and then I just put some Spanish moss. And I had these little eggs that I had made at Easter time. And I put those in there and I made those out of air dry clay. And the little tiny pots, I got those off of Amazon. And I painted them with a little bit of white DIY paint. I don't remember the color. I'll try and remember to put it in there, but it was a white color. And then I did some green. And I think it was Weeping Willow from Dixie Belle. And anyway, so I went ahead and did that. And I put some Spanish moss on all of the pots because, I don't know, it just seemed like they needed a little something to highlight them. So now I'm getting out some different ribbons that I have because I want to make a messy bow. And unfortunately, I did all of this off camera, even though I'm trying so hard to stay on camera. Most of it I cut and did right in front of me. I think the camera moved a little bit, or I moved it. I don't think it moves by itself. But anyway, you'll see me make a messy bow later. But anyway, I put that messy bow there, and I had this little porcelain bird that I had picked up quite a while ago from Amazon. And I just put it on top with some Spanish moss and a few eggs. So that is where I'm at right now with it. And I decide we need a little bit more. And I cut the back of Ephemeral Mirage. And the other one that is similar to that, I can't think of the name of it. This is the cardboard backing of the actual transfer, the papers, and I just cut it out into squares or rectangle pieces. There, you can see it there. And I just cut it out, and I did distress them a little bit, and I used a little bit of that vintage photo, that permanent photo, to kind of ink up the sides, and I used my scissors and I bent them up a little bit just so they looked like they were a little worn. Since I'm making this look kind of, you know, like it's a garden type thing. And after I do that, I decide I need something in the pots because I think they look kind of, I don't know, lonely. And I was going to go ahead also and put some flowers on there, but you'll see what I do. I just, I'm just kind of changing my mind as I go. So I'm putting the thing on the back, and this is just a hanger that I am making out of. This is a wired kind of a jute cord that I got at Dollar Tree. And at this point, I decide I need some green on there. So this is it's actually kind of a fake moss that I bought. I don't even remember where I got it because I've had it for so long. But it's kind of a synthetic, stretchy moss. And I'm putting it in different places around the wreath because I feel like it needs more more color and a little bit of greenery, I think. But I'm trying not to go overboard with it. So anyway, I do that and I put it in the pots. And then I have these little white flowers. I do not know what they're called. I did get them from Hobby Lobby. I do buy them. I use them quite a bit in different projects because I just kind of like the size and I like the color. They're not like super white. They're not teeny tiny, but they're not super huge either. So I'm going to cut those down. I was thinking about putting them in the wreath, but I think it looks better in the pots. So this is the finished project. I absolutely love it. I may not sell this one because it is so stinking cute. I'm going to have to make more of these because they are adorable. So anyway, Erin did it first. So check her out. I'll try and link that video if I can find it. So now we're on to project number 3. And this is kind of a Memorial Day, 4th of July one. And this is a wreath that I had thrifted for $2 just recently. It has this weird bow on it. Those magnolias. And as pretty as they are, I don't really want them for this project. So I am using my heat gun. They are hot glued on. If you ever see a wreath and the stuff's hot glued, don't be afraid because it's really easy to heat up that glue and they just come right off. And you can pull most of the glue off with it. It's not that hard. You can just wipe it off with a paper towel. And in my case, I'm going to be covering most of that up anyway, so it's not really going to matter. So I just heat it up and those leaves just come right off. I have trouble with like one of them. So anyway, this is a scarf that I have had. I've probably had it over 10 years. I couldn't tell you where I got it from. I have seen other ones out there like that. I don't think I've ever worn it. But anyway, I am going to be making a flag wreath. You've probably seen some like this before. But I am trying to position this scarf to where the stars and the stripes show up in the front. And then it's kind of a swag. And I want part of it, to swag on the side. But, I'm not going to have enough to have like a big tie there. So I kind of overlap it. And I end up using a thin rusty wire that I have. And wiring it also. And a tiny bit of glue. And now I have some greenery, all different kinds. And I'm actually just poking it in there. I'm not exactly sure what I'm going to put in there. So the way I do it is I usually kind of stage everything the way that I want it. And I just kind of have like a little rehearsal. And I put everything where I think I'm going to want it. And, it's just a process. And like I see those little white things, I totally rejected those. Put them in. They did not look right. I thought for sure they were going in there, but yeah. So I basically, put everything in there the way I think I'm going to want it. And then when I get it to the way that I want it, I go ahead and start pulling them out one by one and gluing them in. I start putting hot glue in there. But I don't do that until I'm pretty comfortable with the way that it looks. So I'm just basically putting, I think this eucalyptus, I think I might have gotten it on Amazon. I will look through my Amazon purchases and what I can find I will put in the description box. But I have so much floral stuff that I've had for quite a long time that sometimes I can't find the link for it, but I'll try and find something similar. But I hate to do that sometimes. So I put those little roses in there. I thought that they were really pretty. I liked the kind of the color match. I thought it went really well with it. And then I have these little, I think they're like cherry blossoms. Have no idea where I got those. Um, anyway, I put those in the bottom. Then I have these pieces of wheat that I think I'm going to put in there. And so I kind of have it staged the way I want it. Now I have some different ribbon. Some of it's Dollar Tree, some of it's not, some of it's stuff I've just had for a really long time. And I'm going to make a messy bow with this. So you will see me make this one. I know last time I was off camera, but it's basically you just cut lengths of different ribbon, however many you think you want to use. I like to vary mine as I put it together. Like I usually don't put the same ribbon on top of each other. I'll put one and then another, and then I like to use several different kinds if I have it available, and that's pretty much what I do with this. And then I will usually use some sort of wire. I like to use wire for the middle part to twist it, just because I think it makes it a little bit tighter. You can twist it tighter. So I do find this other ribbon. I like to use at least 3 different kinds when I do a messy bow. And I was struggling because I was trying to put the white, but because of this vintage look, it's kind of didn't look right. I mean, I guess I could have coffee dyed it or something. So anyway, I have my 3 different kinds, and I'm going to go ahead and alternate them for my bow. I'm trying to remember which way to go. So I'm just doing that. And I don't know where I got the check. I think I've had that probably forever. So, you know how you just have stuff in your stash. So now I'm just taking this wire, and this is some rusty wire. I believe I got it from a craft store years ago. And I'm getting down to the end. I hope I can find more. I like to use it in my floral arrangements, especially when I'm using Grapevine wreaths, because it's kind of the same color. And you could use floral wire would work too, but it kind of works with the whole vintage vibe of this. So I'm twisting it. And what I will do is I will dovetail my ends of my strips of ribbon. You don't have to do that, but I usually do it. And then I just kind of fluff it up a little bit. And that is it, guys. That is my wreath. I think it turned out really good from a scarf that I had that I wasn't using. And just some florals. I think it turned out really pretty. It has kind of that vintage vibe to it. So now we're on to project number 4. And this is a 2-for-1, guys. You're going to get, it's a bonus. So I have, this is a smaller grapevine wreath, and this is a tin sign that I got from Temu. And I am going to wire this sign. It has, 4 holes on it, and there's my rusty wire again. And I'm going to wire it to the back of this wreath. It's really easy to do because it does have the holes, but this tin is so thin that if you needed to, if you have like something like a crocodile or something like that, you could easily punch a hole in it. Even, I don't know, maybe a regular hole punch would too. But you could just take a hammer and a nail and punch a hole in it if you needed to. But you can get these little signs just about everywhere. They have them in the craft stores inexpensively. So now I'm just making sure that it's centered in there the way that I want it. And I don't show you on camera, but if you look on the left and the right, like there's a little gap there, I later go in and I put a little hot glue on the edge of the sign and a little bit on the wreath, and I go in with some Spanish moss and I tuck it in there to cover that up so you can't really notice that there's that gap. So now I'm just taking some sunflowers, and I know I got these at Walmart recently, and they were pretty inexpensive. I was very happy with them. My Walmart didn't have a lot of them, so I'm going to go back and check and make sure, because I love doing things with sunflowers in the summer and in the fall. So anyway, I am basically just cutting them, uh, you know, probably about 1.5 inches, leaving that much of the stem, because I am going to be hot gluing these in. But again, I don't really ever glue them in until I'm sure where I want them. Except in this case, I do, and you'll see what I do later. But anyway, you can just watch me doing that, and then I will put the leaves in from this actual stem. And then I have some purple flowers that kind of look, I don't know, they kind of look like lavender, but not, that I got from the Dollar Tree. And I'm going to add that to this because I love having that, like a dark blue, like a denim blue, almost purple with the yellow. I love that combination. So anyway, I'm going to let you just watch what I do here. So now I'm adding these other flowers, and I'm going to tuck them all in, and this is where it starts to get interesting because I start putting flowers in there, and then I realize I kind of don't like that many flowers all over. I tuck in these other little uh, purple ones in there. I don't know what they are, but I did get them from the Dollar Tree. And I'm putting those in there, and I'm working with it, and I'm actually gluing things in now. Yeah, so let me know if you like it better that way or the way that I do it, because I don't know. So anyway, I end up deciding to take all the flowers off the top that I just worked so hard to get on there, and I'm going to go ahead and it's not hard. You heat it up with your heat gun, and the glue just comes right off. And I just took that little fork that I had, the end of it, and scraped off some little extra blobs of glue. But it's all going to be covered up anyway. And I'm going to use some ribbon that I have that I bought on clearance from Hobby Lobby. And I'm going to make another messy bow. And that is going to basically be what I decide to do with this, rather than have the flowers on top. So I'm just doing it the same way that I did it before, only this time I'm adding this really wide ribbon that I have, this burlap ribbon, and some thinner polka dot white burlap that I have. Sometimes I think it looks really good on these type of bows to have really varied looking ribbons if you have them. So I'm just going to go ahead and dovetail all my little ends there. I just think it looks better that way, but you definitely don't have to do that. So basically after that, I just put the the uh, bow on and I'm done, and that's project. And I did add the Spanish moss to it. So I really love how it looks now. I think with that big flower in the middle, it just looked too busy to have the flowers on top. So anyway, let me know what you think, what you like better. So I like this better, but you know, I could be wrong. So now this is the part 2 of this. Because I pulled off all those flowers, I decided I'm just going to go ahead and use them. I already cut them. I'm going to make another sunflower wreath. So I painted my little wood round that the same as we used in our other project. And I'm going to be using the IOD stamp again. The wood planks, blank, I don't remember. I put it on the screen. Anyway, I'm gonna, but this is a different portion of the stamp. So what's really great is, now I didn't stamp part of it really good, so I go back over it later. You're not really gonna see very much of it, but I just kind of didn't want it to be white in the background, and I didn't want to do a dark color. I'm going to be using an iron-on transfer that's really kind of meant for like a t-shirt on this, and it works really well. I've done it before. I mean, I just figured if you can iron it on a t-shirt, why couldn't you iron it on wood? So it works. So anyway, I go ahead and stamp the whole thing, and I just kind of leave it for the next part, and that is the transfer. This is an iron-on transfer that's kind of meant for like a t-shirt, you know, for material. I bought it on Temu, and I've done this with other iron-on transfers that I bought from different places, and it works extremely well. Really easy to do. All I'm doing is basically following the same directions that you would do for a t-shirt, and I have a piece of parchment paper, and I'm using my iron, and I'm ironing it on my wood disc. Now I have not sealed it or done anything that. I haven't put a wax on it, so it's basically just on wood. The ink is permanent, so it's not going to hurt it. So I just go over it, and I have my iron on not the highest heat, but a higher heat. And you'll see right there, I had a little problem on the corner, and I just put my parchment paper back down, and then I just went over it. And then I'm just taking my polyacrylic, and I'm going ahead, and I'm going to put just one coat of polyacrylic. It's a matte polyacrylic over that, just to protect it a little bit more. So if it's going to be on a porch or something, you know, you want to give it a little bit of weather protection. And now all I'm going to do is I put glue all the way around the edge of that. I didn't show you all that, but just around the circle of the edge. And I'm gluing this to the grapevine wreath like I did with the other one with little pots on it. Same thing. And I'm just kind of holding it down for the glue to kind of dry. And here I'll show you what I didn't show you on the other wreaths, is I tucked in some Spanish moss in all of those little crevices, because there's like a little gap, because you know your grapevine wreath is not completely flat, so it's not flush with whatever you put down. Or like in the case of the rectangle tin, there was a little gap on each side. But you know, when you put this Spanish moss in there, it completely hides that. So, and I think it adds a little bit to the wreath too. I think it looks good. So basically what I didn't show you is I just basically put the same flowers that I had on the top of the other wreath, and I put it on this, and then I put a bow on top. And I did it exactly the same way, and it turned out super, super cute, I think. So project number 5 is our last project, and this is super, super easy. I had this lasso. I bought it, I think, at a craft fair years and years ago. And I had this welcome and these cowboys, these rusty cowboys. And I'm not kidding. I've had this probably a good 10 years. And I'm finally just doing what I was going to do. Is I'm going to go ahead and take some of that wire. You get it at Dollar Tree, and it is basically, it's not really rope and it's not really twine, but it has wire in it. In the $1.25 section. And I am going to use that to kind of anchor this in there. These pieces are a little heavy. You definitely can't glue them in. So I am just going to take it and find strategic places that I can wire this in. I did wire the lasso in a couple places just to keep it all together so it wouldn't fall apart. But I'm going to just wire these cowboys and then the welcome in there. Just trying to keep it wherever I put it from falling and just finding good places. And I'm using this rope just because I think it blends in pretty well. If I had a rustier heavy gauge wire, I would probably use that as well. Maybe it would look even better. But this worked pretty well, and I did it on the top piece as well, and you can see I just twist it. I try and put the twisted part in the back, and that is all I did on that, and that is everything, guys. Those are all my projects. Thank you for hanging out with me. I hope you enjoyed these. If you did, please give me a thumbs up, comment, share, subscribe. It really, really helps out my brand new little channel, and I greatly, greatly appreciate it. So, anyway, I hope you enjoyed it, and thanks for watching, and I hope to see you again next